All right, so things to work on is if they're off balance left to right. Oh yeah, another one kind of trick. So if Ted wants to attack me on prep, let's say I don't make a lot of steps, but some of you do this here. You have a very wild tip. If your tip is all over the place, that could be something that people will use against you. So if I'm all over the place, Ted can now pick. If he notices that I'm going like up and down, as soon as my tip will go down, he can go look to attack me on the high side. Vice versa, if I look to always swing up on that motion up, underneath it here or even on a toe, both could work. So in general, to build a full picture, you're looking for opponent being a little bit committed, maybe a little bit reacting left and right, and maybe having a little wild tip. If you get all three of those, you should be relatively feeling confident about what you're going to do to go score the hit. All right, so it's your job now to create that situation. That will take some time to develop, of course, depending on the opponent. All right, so now we're going to get into a little bit of managing the score. Okay, that's something that's very important, and I see that kind of going downhill on a lot of people. So first thing, this is kind of a trick question. Relax. What is the most important touch? Which one? Is this the first, second, third, 25th? Oh. Yes, the ones that work with me, you should definitely know this. I've been lectured about it, right? And I think Ted even mentioned that the other day, right? The first touch, to make it actually be honest, is the lead touch. So it's not necessarily just the first one. If you double out, we're still in the same position. It's getting that lead, right? So that's by far the most important touch. There's no real good way of demonstrating it. Besides, you need to understand what are your strengths. How do we get that lead touch? So, Ted, for example. Ted, what are your strengths? What do you think?
Drawing people out and then counterattack.
So, drawing people out and making a counterattack. So that means that if he wants to get the lead, he needs to funnel me in that direction. So let's say, Anga Preale, we're fencing. There you go. If I don't give him anything, right? So again, feint. If I give him any opening, are you gonna bite on that? Not so much, okay? Maybe Ted wants to obviously do a good demonstration, but still be careful. A little bit on the wrist. You definitely do not want to overcommit if you funnel them towards your strongest asset. So again, we continue fencing. If you want to provoke and get a stop hit, do that. You should not bite on me being wide open. Just stick to your plan. Again, up, I'm open, nothing, nothing. At some point in time, I decide to commit. Hopefully, Ted will make that touch, okay? Again, this is hard to perform. Right? So that's the number one thing, getting that lead. Once you have the lead, that's when attack on preparation is much easier. Attack and recovery is much easier because opponents are actually doing those things to you, right? Next, if you're down 2 or more, the first rule, do not create the quicksand effect, okay? Meaning where you're already in a hole. You're already in a bad situation. You're down 2. And the harder you work with quicksand, the lower you sink in. That means you're down 3, down 4, down 5, right? Your job, if you're down 2, to shut down, okay? Now, the rules over the years changed, and that concept of shutting down is also kind of changing. But your job is just not to dig a hole much deeper, okay? So let's say me and Ted are fencing, and let's say I'll demonstrate it in reverse this time. Ted has the lead, okay? So Ted is up 2-0. We're still in the first minute of the 15-point bout, so we still got basically the full 3 periods, okay? What I should be doing is next 45 seconds, do not think to attack, but rather think what I could present to him to maybe pull him out. So in my case, my strongest athlete being a pistol grip is a pair of riposte, let's say, right? So we're gonna work around, he has the lead until eventually, hopefully, after 30 or 40 seconds, he gives up and gives me some sort of an extension, then I could get him. You could always attack. A lot of you maybe don't know this, but I played a little bit of basketball and back in the day when I was younger. And our coach used to teach us this drill where it's a full basketball court. You have 3 seconds. You got to get from one rim to the other. So a basketball court is about, what, 3-4 times of our strips, right? So under 5 seconds, easily you can cover any length on a strip and go try to do some sort of an attack if you have to. Right? It's much better being down 3-0 and have another full minute to work than being already each 30 seconds being down 1 point because you're just gambling, right? Right, so a good concept to keep in mind while you're being down, something that should motivate you is a war of attrition. The other words, try to wear them down. That's the best way against good opponents to make those comebacks. Wear them down. Maximize your time on a strip, get them tired physically, get them tired mentally, get them maybe a little frustrated. Those are the things that really work to make a comeback.